familiar with what's going on, Bill 174 is new legislation that will regulate the sale of cannabis in the province of Ontario. Within that bill, unfortunately, Schedule 3 puts unnecessarily harsh restrictions on a harm reduction approach to quitting smoking through vaping. Through Bill 174, the laws will be the harshest in the country. It would force all vape shop owners to cover every piece of hardware, every bottle of e-liquid, ban flavor testing on site. It would also ban the ability for representatives at your local vape shop from teaching you how to use and set up vaping equipment to use safely. We're here to demand Mr. Nackby, who owns the bill as the Attorney General of Ontario, to at the very least allow vape shops to set up equipment fairly and allow customers to choose the best vaping product that would give them the best opportunity to quit cigarettes forever.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
As a vape community, to the Canadian Vaping Association, to Vaping Advocates of Ontario, to individuals like ourselves, all we're asking for is regulations to make vaping safe in Ontario.
Make it fair!
Make it fair.
Make it fair!
This industry was the first ones to ask the government to make fair regulations to improve the safety in our government. And this is the legislation we get in return. Shame.
Shame!
Just yesterday, while I was preparing the signs for this protest, a 60-year-old woman came to my vape shop with tears in her eyes, saying her husband just passed away from cancer and she finally wanted to quit smoking. I had the privilege of guiding her through a lot of options to make sure that she could find something she was comfortable using. It took 6 or 7 attempts to allow her to vape on something that was comfortable without her coughing or feeling irritation. Sometimes as vape shop owners and employees, everybody here can know, it can take up to an hour or more occasionally with customers. And that's what it takes sometimes to get people to give up cigarettes. And tying our hands from doing that is putting them right into the hands of big tobacco and saying your life doesn't matter anymore, and we won't take that. So what we're asking is fair consideration. The Liberals claim that they're going to fix the regulation through fix the legislation through regulations to allow some vape shops to be exempt. So far, I don't trust the Liberal government as we see them. And the problem with legislation is the health board at any time with the stroke of a pen can take the entire industry away. And we're here to say that that's not okay.
Not fair!
Not fair! Not fair! So Mr. Nackby and your constituents, we're here to tell you that we're not going to sit quiet, we're not going to take it lying down, and if the legislation kills vaping in Ontario, we're going to see you in court, sir.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Save the lives, save the jobs!
Save the lives, save the jobs! So coming up next, I would love it if Mark Henry could speak. He represents Bruce Vape on the Quebec side. He's experienced what it means to have legislation in the province that hurts the sale of electronic cigarettes. I think we can learn a lot from his experience. Unfortunately, our laws are going to be even worse, but this gentleman has been really supportive of Ontario fight. So first of all, I want to give a big hand up to Mike from Bruce Vape.
Yeah, Mike.
And he's just going to share a little bit of experience that he's had so far helping us.
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
It sucks that we have to be here on these circumstances, but you know, let's keep up the fight. First, I'll just share a bit about myself. I'm a vape shop owner on the Quebec side. I also have shares in a juice manufacturing company here on the Ontario side. So this will affect me and the others in our company. On December 10th, 2014, I made the decision to stop smoking. I walked into a local vape shop, picked myself up a starter kit with some 18 milligram flavored e-juice. And to be specific, it was called 6 on the Peach. Since that day, I haven't had a cigarette. For 11 years, I was a hockey coach with the Wynne Hockey Association of Gatineau. In my 11th year, I had to give it up. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't keep up with the 12-year-old kids anymore. So that affected my life in a great amount. It took something away from me that for the last 25 years, smoking a cigarette, that was the result. Since then, last year I started coaching again, and it's thanks to vaping. In regards to legislation in Quebec, Bill 44 passed on November 26, 2015. Since then, there's no more flavor testing inside our locations. We cannot give product demonstration, and as a result, I've seen a lot of customers go back to smoking traditional tobacco.
Shame!
Shame! If this legislation passes here in Ontario without exemption for 19+ vape shops, the Liberal government will literally be signing the death certificates of tens of thousands of Ontario residents.
Shame!
Thank you very much. That's all I have to say at the moment. Let's keep up the fight, guys.
Yeah!
Thank you.
Let's get another big round of applause for Mike. I know Mike was a little nervous about public speaking today, but he knows more than anybody that this is really important, so you got to get over your fears and fight. And we got some late protesters coming. Welcome, everybody.
Hey!
Secondly, I want to share the story, my own story. It was a pretty difficult one. I smoked since I was about 14, 15 years old, generally about a pack and a half a day. I led generally an unhealthy lifestyle. When I finally decided to clean most of my life up, cigarettes was the last thing to go. And I tried literally everything. And I thought, to be honest, I thought it was just the hipsters doing it, and I wasn't that interested. I tried Zyban. I was smoking high for 30 days and still smoking cigarettes. I tried hypnosis, and I don't even believe in hypnosis. I tried the patch. I tried the gum. None of those processes worked for me. Finally living in Toronto, I bought an electronic cigarette. I kept it on my shelf for a week, and finally when I was going out to a bar, one of those nights where I knew I'd smoke a pack and a half a day, I decided to give vaping a try. I woke up the next morning expecting to hack up a lung, like so many people do after smoking a lot the next day, and I realized that I can breathe clearly again. Not as clear as I can now, because I was only after one day, but I knew right away that this is something that works and is a really powerful solution to quitting smoking. I left Toronto on a 2-week vacation and shared with my friends in Ottawa how awesome vaping was, and I got so passionate about it, I decided to rent an empty space and open a vape shop. 3 years ago, I made the decision one night to quit smoking, and within a week, I knew that vaping is where we needed to be. So I want to thank everybody for supporting us and coming out today. The next story I want to share is a good buddy of mine. I think many of us know Nathaniel. He asked me to share his story. He's a 37-year-old who smoked for a long period of time. Unfortunately, the health complications keep up with his son, who's I think working with him at 12. Is that the end of your son now? Sorry, I don't know what exact story about that, buddy. 12? 14? How old's your son?
More volume, my son.
More volume?
Yes, sir.
Is this better?
Yes.
Perfect. Alright, sorry for that. So I'm here to share the story of Nathaniel. Nathaniel was around 32 years old and really unable for health reasons to keep up with his son. After making several attempts to quit, he found vaping. And an important point to get across for him is you know, a lot of us don't quit necessarily because we care about our own lives, but there are people that we are responsible for looking after, our children, our loved ones, maybe nieces and nephews, and we're responsible for making sure we're here to support them when they grow up. And vaping is a big part of that solution, so thank you very much, Nathaniel, for sharing that story with us. A big part of that was asthma. I myself also had asthma, and I can tell you definitely vaping has provided some relief from that for sure. Right now I would love to hear from David Jones. He's been an advocate in this industry, a really strong advocate for more than 3 years. So I want us to give a really loud round of applause for David. Thank you.
I'm certainly happy to see everybody here on today. It's cold, but hey, we're a family. We're a vape family.
Louder right now.
Hey?
Louder.
Louder into it?
Yeah.
Now, 4 years ago, my wife took me to Eastleigh, and she said, hey, why don't you try vaping? I smoked 40 years when I was in the military. So 40 years, I smoked a pack a day minimum. So she took me to the vape store, got me one of those little things. I said, are you kidding me? She said, oh, try it out. So I tried it, and I actually enjoyed it. So for the last 4 years, I've been smoke-free because of vaping. Now, my son also smoked. I got him into vaping as well, and he actually quit smoking, and he's actually quit vaping. So,
Awesome.
what can I say? It does work. Now, over the past 4 years, I've been a huge advocate of vaping. I've actually testified at Hesher in 2014 before the MPs. I was grilled for 45 minutes by these guys. They don't have a clue. They still don't have a clue, as we have seen Bill S5. I testified at the Senate last year with Petitclerc and Soki. Same idea with Bill S5. They don't have a clue. They think vaping is smoking, and they don't understand what we do. Now with Bill 174, I also fought against them with Bill 45. It was bad then with Bill 45. Bill 174 is even worse, if you can imagine. Now when I was with TRHA as a director, we fought across Canada for vaping. In BC, out east with Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Alberta, Manitoba, okay? Same idea exists. We all think we smoke. Guess what? We are all non-smokers now. But they don't seem to understand. That's what we've done. They look at the ideology and say, hey, it looks like smoking, so you must be smoking.
Yeah.
Now, with Bill 174, my Liberal MPP is Mary Collins Lalonde. She's actually a friend of mine, believe it or not. She's also the Minister of Correctional Services. She asked me to get one of her assistants, her aide, to go from smoking to vaping. Now, this is a Liberal MPP. So I took her to Ron's place. Ron sat down with her, went over with her over an hour, getting the right nicotine level, getting the right gear, getting the right flavor, which was key to her quitting smoking. So she came back, and I talked to Lalonde about a year ago. He said, guess what? My assistant has quit smoking through vaping. So she says, well, you know what? I also talked to our people saying that, hey, vaping does help. But guess what? The Liberal Bill 174 is a killer. It not only kills jobs, it kills people. They don't seem to understand this. And when you talk to the Liberals, they think, well, guess what? We will push this bill through with all these ridiculous laws, but we'll fix it in regulations. Well, guess what? Once the regulations come in, it's based on what's in the bill. The bill has not changed. It's worse. And when they come to regulations, they will make it tougher for us to do anything. So when you see them saying, well, guess what? Don't worry about your flavors. No. The rest of the aspects of Bill 174 will literally devastate everybody. So when we talk to our MPPs, and I implore everybody to contact their MPPs face to face. Emails, Twitters, and all this stuff help. But when you talk to these guys face to face and see what they actually say, they can't lie to you. Because they're talking to you well, they can lie to you because they have. But the thing is that they will talk to you face to face, okay, to see exactly what they're saying. And don't trust a Liberal. We know that now. Because Pot said, I said, I have your back. He said that to Maria. He said that on the tweet. I have your back during Bill 174. Guess what happened during the clause by clause yesterday? Nothing. No amendments. Everything went through as is. Right? So when he says, I have your back, do you trust him?
He's all far.
No.
Change the bill!
Change the bill.
Guess what? I had a Twitter exchange with him today. He will come back. Because I said to you, trust is earned, not given. We honor our promises. We don't bullshit. Okay? So if you're going to have our backs, have our backs. Don't lie to us. Okay? But anyway, guys, no, that's really what I'd like to say. I really support the Vape family. I think we're a good community. We're here to help each other. We're here to help people get off smoking. That's what it's all about. We are a Vape family. Stick together. Thank you very much, people. Randy Hillier called me this morning. Okay, he's the MPP.
We love you, Randy!
Randy called me.
Take that!
Randy said, I support you 100%. What you're doing is great. You have to keep pressuring the Liberals because they're feeling the heat. We're not feeling the heat right now, but they're feeling the heat. Okay? So we have to keep the pressure on. We cannot stop these guys. Okay? We have to make sure that they understand we're here, we're not going away. We vape, we vote, and we remember in 6 months' time, people. Remember that, 6 months' time. And you can tell that when you talk to your MPPs, with the Liberals especially. See you in 6 months.
We vape, we vote! We vape, we vote! We vape, we vote! We vape, we vote!
Thank you, David. David's been one of, I think, the most steadfast advocates in this, certainly within Ottawa. And I think, you know, the constant encouragement for people that don't give up is sometimes what we need when we feel defeated. What I've been really amazed at through this whole event and this whole process of Bill 174 is that I've worked with Mr. Nacfi on a lot of harm reduction campaigns in the past. I supported the Smoke Free Ontario initiative, at least through changes. He worked with me on an anti-violence campaign to reduce the amount of violence people experience in their homes, and he's always taken a harm reduction approach in all of the things that he does. So for me to stand here in front of Nacfi's office, I'm particularly ashamed of him because he's going against his own beliefs that he's dedicated his whole career to, and that's shameful. People in Ottawa have counted on you to have their backs every time with harm reduction, and up until today, Mr. Nacfi, you've been supportive of that. Today you broke your promise to reduce the harm of people living in Ontario, and you should feel ashamed of yourself.
Shame!
I was also pretty amazed at how little people understand about the process of making a bill. So I want to just explain to you why Bill 174 is tacked onto a much larger bill. Mr. Nacfi initiated the bill to legalize the sale of marijuana in the province of Ontario strictly through the LCBO chains with the building of 20 stores. Now, in order to get that, he checked around. By the time bills hit the legislation, they already have the votes they need. They've already checked in with each other, and they already know what's going to happen. In this case, there wasn't enough support, and he had to reach across party lines to get support. In order to do that, somebody, I'm not sure who, the health board, said to him, we'll get you 4 or 5 votes, Mr. Nacfi, but you need to take care of this vaping promise for us as well. So, of course, that's why Bill 174 now has 7 months scheduled. As someone from the Ministry of Transportation is concerned about bus safety gets added on so that they help vote through the Marijuana Act. The health board is concerned about vaping, primarily because the loss of sale of, in my opinion, the sale of taxes from tobacco cigarette sales dropping. So they asked that that be added onto the bill 174 for vaping so that they can get support for the marijuana bill. While I support the legalization of marijuana, it's an irrelevant premise to the fact that vaping has absolutely nothing to do with it. 4 years ago, my mother decided to quit smoking just after I did. She's now 60 years old. Just after she went to the hospital after an unrelated incident, they did a report and found that she had about 60% of her lung capacity left. She tried everything to quit. And that's part of the same time frame that I started quitting. I told my mom about vaping. It took her a while to get started. She's pretty lazy, so I have to constantly keep up her electronic cigarette every time I'm there. But she's been now smoke-free for 2.5 years, which is amazing to me. And while I can get by on other things, I'm not going to sit by and watch my mother go back to cigarettes because she can't have access to proper flavors and support for her electronic cigarette. The biggest problem for me, Mr. Nacfi, is that you're telling everybody else that our own experiences and our own the scientific research to back it up is less important than the opinions of politicians who have very little science to base their decisions on. I'd like to give space for anybody that hasn't had a chance to speak yet to come up and say something. Jason, did you want to say something?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good?
Everything's been said.
Yeah, not a problem. So who here wants to say something? Anybody want their voice heard? I think you said it. You might want to say something. Cat, no? All right.
Say something.
Yeah. And he distinctly promises to try to leave the cuss words out of it, but we recognize it might be tough in this situation.
Yeah, sometimes I get a little heated. Some of you might not know me. I've been vaping for 2 years. I can't say I've been vaping all the way through. How I started vaping was I quit smoking cold turkey, sitting at my buddy's house. He had a vape that he wasn't using. I was sitting in his garage just holding my skull because my head was pounding so much from quitting cold turkey from smoking 2 to 2.5 packs a day. So he goes, here, try this. I read a little bit about him. I was kind of skeptical. I was like, this is weird. I'm inhaling this water vapor. I don't know. I don't understand. He's like, just try it. All right. I literally took 3 puffs off this little tank. I told him to get in this damn car. We're going to vape shop. Woo! That was it right there. That got me hooked. I started at like, well, I don't even think I said like 30 milligrams. It's ridiculous. But I was smoking 2.5 packs a day, and that's what got me off of it. So I went about 8 to 10 months absolutely cigarette free. My life took a complete U-turn. The vape wasn't cutting it anymore. I had gone back to smoking. I was a dual user at this point. I wasn't smoking 2 packs a day, but I also wasn't just vaping. Now, just recently in the last, we'll say month, I managed to pick myself up an Aspire Breeze with salt mix from a shop that I went to, where I got to try 3 or 4 different mouth-to-lung units with different flavors. And with this bill going through, that would have never happened. I would have never gotten back on the vape. I would have been smoking again. I probably would have put it down completely at this point and just been smoking again. If this bill goes through, there'll be a whole lot more people like me, I feel. There'll be other people that can't even start because they'll walk into a shop and go, hey, what do you have? I don't know, can't help you. Boo! Right, boo! Hey, what flavors do you have? Tobacco and flavorless. Let me ask you a question. This is a question that was asked in Toronto at the rally when I was at. How many people here vape flavorless liquids? A whole lot of no hands at all.
I tried it.
Somebody actually tried flavors. I've never even tried it, but I should be pointing to it. I got off the first time with raspberry. That was the flavor that hooked me right in, and then it was green apple after that. This time I got hooked on a French vanilla flavor. Delicious. But without all these choices, with this bill going through, none of this will happen. We won't have any flavors, we won't have any chance to look at products, see products, touch products, test products, anything. And that, for lack of better words, is bullshit. Shame! 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 Absolutely! Vaping saves lives. Simple as that. That's what I gotta say on that. Let's give it up for David.
I think what's amazing about the city of Ottawa is people will go from shop to shop to shop to shop, and at every place they can be guaranteed they're talking to somebody that really knows a lot about what they're talking about. I think we're really lucky in the city to have a lot of people that spend a lot of time outside of their own, what they're obligated to really make sure people feel supported. And sometimes it does take 3, 4, or 5 times to quit. I mean, God knows I probably took a good dozen times before I finally made that happen. But the important thing is that we're here for each other. We got people in brick and mortar stores that can be with you every step of the way, that can help improve your vaping experience so you can finally make that happen. So let's give it up for everybody that's helped somebody quit at any point in their life. Alright, so what would be really awesome just for the social media aspect, if we can get everybody to group up together, maybe in this area here, so we can have some really nice pictures for Facebook with all of us lumped together. I think it'd be really, really important. Just kind of fill up the sidewalk, make it look... Yeah, let's do it in front of McAfee's office. Let's do that.
Well, I'm tall. I'll get right to that.
So we got a feed going. Awesome. So everybody, there's a live feed going. If you want to shout out a message to Facebook, let everybody know that we're not taking no 174 lying down. Woo!
I vape, I vote, 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 I vape.
Let's give it up for Vapor Advocates Ontario that is supporting us the whole time. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming out, guys. I think we made some impactful statements. Whether or not they listen, I guess, is going to be determined on Monday when they do the line-by-line reading of the third reading. But it's not time to give up. When they get home, make sure we're sending those emails to MPs, picking up our phones on Monday, letting them know that if they're not going to support our right to vape, we're single-issue voters, and they'll be voted out of office. Smoking kills, vaping saves.
Smoking kills, vaping saves.
Smoking kills, vaping saves.
Smoking kills, vaping saves.